welcome back to Dragon Riders. There we go. So, it's good to be back. Second episode. First episode went pretty well. I think we're just gonna kind of pretty much barrel right into it very quickly. Wandering in, Sheepdog, Patreon, YouTube, Twitter, Discord. You made a face like I forgot something.
I'm just laughing at you because
I'm good at these.
So good.
So good. Yes, so Dragon Riders. Back on track. We are now on episode 2. We're going to have a break or after episode 4 for a week, and then we're back for more Dragon Riders. What I wanted to say is, if you are interested in the schedule, and this is just a little bit loud. There we go. If you're interested in the schedule of shows, then on the Discord, there's actually a channel now which has a list of the schedule, which tells you when the episodes are airing and all those type of things. I'm going to keep it updated, so you'll always know what we know in terms of episode schedule. So if you want to stay reminded, that's a good place to go. Go check out the Discord. Of course, if you want to keep updated, check out the Twitter. I do tweet when we go live. It's pretty much all I ever tweet, but you know, that's fine. And if you'd like to support the show, there is a Patreon. The Patreon essentially goes into paying the cast. The more people we have supporting on Patreon, the more cast I can pay, which means the more shows I can do. So we're actually getting closer to having the Friday show, which is what Dragons is just a kind of one-off for at the moment, permanently funded. Once that is permanently funded, then we'll have the Monday show and the Friday show, hopefully at the same time, which will be wonderful. Currently, the Monday show is much more focused on kind of, I know Dragon Riders is kind of slow burn RP, but like slow burn RP, a bit longer shows, and just essentially doing sheepy things on a show. Dragon Riders is going to hopefully be, not Dragon Riders, sorry, the Friday show, which is what today is, will hopefully be experimental, new GMs, that type of thing. I want to bring in new GMs, get them, you know, doing something they're interested in, or even experienced GMs who are like, I want to try this really weird thing, and I'm like, so do I. Have you seen Dragon Riders? I literally have to switch overlays all the time because we have 2 characters each. So there we go. So yes, go check out the Patreon if you want more shows. We also have some other stuff coming up, which is going to be very interesting. You probably won't see that for a couple of months, but watch this space. And finally, we have the QT starting on Monday the 30th, which is going to be very interesting. The system that we're using is City of Mist, but if you know or watch or have tried the City of Mist, it's not going to be that much like the City of Mist. It's not the setting, it's just the system, as is always the case with Sheepy. Sometimes when I go looking for a system I want and I don't find one, I make one myself. Hello and welcome to Dragon Riders. So, I don't think the system's that bad considering, but yeah, it's very bare bones. So, last week, we rejoined our dragons. And our Dragon Riders. They have been... Do you think it's fair to say hiding in the swamp?
Yeah.
Refocusing.
Refocusing. Collecting ourselves. Preparing.
you can tell who the team leader is.
Digging holes.
The politician.
Yeah. And oh god, I'm sorry. I almost started laughing just because I remembered the encounter with the farmer and his kid.
Oh.
It went very smoothly.
It went very smoothly. 3 dragons descended upon a farmer and his teenage kid as they were taking supplies to a kind of excavationary force who are situated outside of Harrowhold, and scared the crap out of them, proceeded to growl at them a lot, and then chased them through the forest after they ran away. Ardor bouncing around and growling, Tourmaline deciding to pick them up while flying, and yeah.
Incinzia just eating their boxes.
Incinzia literally angry raccooning in their in their wagon. It's fine. But they did find out that I don't think I done things here. A second. Okay. Oh, one sec. So they found out that essentially there appears to be, at current time, pretty much no dragon riders around. There's been a couple seen in the distance, an occasional dragon seen flying somewhere. Aside from in the north, there's been some rumors of a dragon or dragon rider up north somewhere. And yeah, it's just been Thrubra has been closed down, so you can't get through the steel spine that way currently. Thrubra is essentially a little border town with a big tunnel that goes through the mountains over to the other side to kind of central Liss. And was there anything else that important that you guys learned?
We learned about the eggs, or the dragons learned about eggs.
Ah, yes, but no one knows about that.
Bingo. We know that there is some fiction around the fact that we know things, but we
Yes.
don't know things. I make good word.
Yeah.
So,
Cargilia.
yes, Cargilia has been sending out missives to the other towns and cities, essentially trying to organize everyone together and get things sorted. And that Cargilia up north is where there was a dragon scene or a dragon rider scene, something along those lines. It's all very vague. And I believe there was a conversation, which didn't turn into an argument, pretty much, about what to do next and who should kind of steer the ship or the pod. It seems like currently the frontrunners would be Rithera and Cassandra, both of whom are suited to lead in different ways. You think that's fair? With Perry sticking his foot in his mouth and Ultra worrying too much about being a cultist to actually try and take the helm.
Just a little.
Just a little. So after they kind of decided that, what exactly did they decide? They decided to head up and check out the merchant guy, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one who was said to be moving up. However, I believe Ardor got a little bit hungry. Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Went to go and grab some food, just in the outskirts of the swamp, not very far away, and smelled something which she recognized as a dragon. So, we will rejoin Ardor as you are out in the woods, in the edge of the forest, and you catch a whiff on the air, just kind of like a scent that's kind of, considering you lived in Harrowhold your entire life up until now, hard to mistake the smell of a dragon because pretty much all you smelled.
A little bit more detail about that. Can we smell color or type? Like, are there differences that we can pick up, or is it just it smells like dragon?
So in general, it's hard to discern unless, you know what? It is possible. So, with that in mind, would you please, let's have a look here. Would you please roll me your resolve, which I believe is a 3?
Is
No successes. Hard to tell. In the instances where you have been able to tell, it's usually just color, and it's usually just your own color.
okay.
So sometimes you get a sniff and you're like, that's a red something. However, in this instance, no real idea. It's,
What do I?
Yeah, it's just kind of coming from hard to tell distance as well of that.
Okay.
But the wind is blowing in your face, so it's coming from slightly north, slightly east, from where you are
can't tell
currently.
distance. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So, is there anything around me? Any creatures? Or am I just in the forest, just woods?
Yeah, just in the forest, in the woods.
No bugs, no turtles, no nothing.
Yeah, there's kind of a little buzzing of insects and birds. Generally, in an area where dragons are, the animals tend to tends to move out a fair bit and disperse, but just general little insects and such are around. If you were to travel back and jump into the swamp, you could probably find some fish and some, you know, there's still a few alligators around, crocodiles, etc.
And this is just a mental question for me of thinking about Ardor, and I'm sure that things that Ultra and Order have experienced. Can I shrink myself? Like if I took a fly, a small insect, with taking attributes from whatever creature, can I take size, or is that?
It's something you've experimented with a little bit. Currently, you would definitely need Ultra to help with the control. And even then, it would require you more, what I would call more expertise than you currently have. You have, however, seen red dragons. There's not really an opportunity to eat something larger than themselves and grow, but some of them have managed to reduce themselves in size a decent amount.
So with having looked around, realizing there's probably not anything around here to help me, Ardor would, as stealthy as possible, without trying to get attention, get back to the swamp and alert the others, whoever's awake, on guard, watching, or still
Around. And I will say that, given that Oddle probably took a few seconds, a little bit of time to see what was happening, it's not moving quickly.
Okay.
And again, like for other dragons, the smell of dragon is much more is much stronger than the smell of a person. Generally, you can smell a rider and their dragon both, but it tends to be overpowered by the dragon. So,
Okay.
I can't speak as to whether there's someone with them, like a rider with them, or if it's just a random
I
dragon.
couldn't smell. Yeah.
But they're not moving quickly. It's a leisurely stroll at best.
Okay.
So, you head back. Everyone is where they were. Perry is in his hole. Ultra is helping. And I believe everyone else is kind of around the campfire area.
I smelled a dragon coming this way, not fast. Couldn't tell if there was a rider, but there's something coming.
Harry begins to dig faster.
What do you mean a dragon? Did you just smell a dragon?
Don't have any details. Can't tell you how big. Can't tell you if there's a rider. Can't tell you what color or what kind. Just dragon.
What direction?
And I'm like,
North, south.
Northeast, but one of the heads can basically point.
Just point.
My heads go that way, and the one stares at you.
Let's go. Come on.
I can put
You can go. I'm already grabbing like water from the swamp to put out the fire. Like I'm trying to like hide our footprint as much as possible. And then if it becomes too big or something that you can't deal with, come back. Don't try to do it on your own.
well, if there is a rider there, perhaps someone should go. It's
Do you want me to go?
yes. I think you would be a welcoming. Yes,
you
let
like
a
me to
few of us go. Rithera?
yes.
Ultra?
Two of you should go. Yes, back each other up. I'll
Seems-
deal with the tracks, and I like start grabbing branches and things to kind of like, since it's built into like a slight hill mound, like to kind of cover up a bit of the entrance to make it a little harder to see if you fly over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab like my weapons, all that stuff, like just click, 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 and get myself kind of together, and then run over to Ardor and get ready to fly, I guess.
Okay.
And Cynthia, you ready?
Of course I'm ready. Let's go.
Like nudging you almost.
And I do the same thing. My weapons and everything are not very far from me at any time.
No.
So that's strapped to me, and I'll hop on, waiting for Ultra to make sure that they're coming as well.
Yeah, I just literally, like we've done millions of times or hundreds of times, jump onto the saddle and kind of just I don't want to say like, you know, like a horse when they click their heels, like kind of just like a little tap on your side that you know is like, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Ardor doesn't want to really go anywhere without you, so it's
Okay. And then both Incinzia, Ardor take a quick run step, quicker for Incinzia, and take off. I'm assuming you basically want to beeline for the smell.
Yeah, I think as we get closer, I'll probably start being a little sneakier.
yeah. Because
We
I
don't know.
imagine Incinzia would get there first, right?
Yeah, we don't
So-
know anything about it, so we don't know if there's more than one or
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Zip there and try and scope it out.
All right. In that case, Incinzia, as you zip, you do, because the trees are reasonably sparse still in this area. You do see quite quickly a figure, person, looks like a man, who is kind of hooded, with a peach kind of colored cloak, and what looks like possibly a kind of like rapier style sword on his belt, walking slowly but with purpose through the forest.
I mean, is the smell beyond this guy? Like,
No.
is the smell the guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you're not super quiet in terms of but even still, as you get closer, you are downwind, so you know your smell is not gonna waft until you get, you know, fairly close. But even still, before that, you see like he looks up and puts his hands to his brows to kind of like see what's coming in the distance, essentially you, and his hands are like wreathed in these like heavy, almost plate looking gauntlets.
I'm probably almost gonna try and like give Rithera like a heads up of this guy, like, and I'm just gonna go and like land in front of him, I think.
Okay.
Unless Rithera directs me or tries to direct me otherwise, this is happening.
I would try and I would want to be pincering him, right? So I'd want to make sure that Ardor and Ultra are coming one side and we're coming the other so that he can't really run away.
Okay.
If he smells like dragon and it's a human, I have major concerns that what he's wearing is dragon.
I think because Rithera has like that hunting survival background, I'm just gonna take Rithera's lead on this.
Okay. So you kind of move to the side and
Yeah, probably go around there.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea. Do we have hand signals, like to be like,
oh, for sure.
I
so
imagine.
I know which way to like
I
sweep
think
around and
we did that last time in the hunt, didn't we?
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna take
Like
this
my-
side.
I know, like giant dragons making so much noise, and we're like, and I know exactly what that means.
Like doing disco almost.
It's better than some type of semaphore where you have like little flags wiggling.
Flags seem tedious, you know, in this
Yeah.
situation.
We'd lose a flag. That'd
Flags would
be
Well,
be
major
falling
flag.
trouble.
everywhere.
Flags from saddles.
Terrible.
Ribbon dancing.
Or the color guard in the sky.
It'd be beautiful.
I don't think you managed to get a ribbon on Incensia.
No.
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 So what I'll say is, Ultra and Ardor kind of you, coming up slightly slower than Incensia, you kind of glide to the side slightly, and not really hover, but like properly slow down, and maintain like the kind of aerial advantage. While Incensia, you go straight in.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a bit aggressive with this guy.
Okay.
Like,
So
And I'm
you-
encouraging that.
You kind of land close-ish, but still out of kind of striking distance for
Yeah.
both of you, with your arm
it's like
wings.
I'm large, and my wings are out, and I'm like,
Could we essentially say that the art for Incensia is how Incensia currently looks?
yes, actually.
Because it's got that kind of like crouch, like
Yeah, I want this guy to be intimidated, essentially.
and he like puts his hands up as you land and as you kind of, you know, is there any hissing? Is there growling?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah.
very much. It's not quiet. We've had the quiet moment. No, we're going for a loud, intimidating, large dragon in front of this guy's face.
And he puts his hands out and says, I wasn't expecting to find any other riders.
Riders. Then who are you?
Aradon True Shield. I was in a pod under Geneva.
Where's your
Right.
pod now?
I'm not sure. I think they're dead.
And where's your dragon?
Chardrock. Unequip, please. And the cloak, the gauntlets, and the rapier all kind of like mist up and come a bit hazy, and then kind of like just slide off him onto the floor, and then slowly like solidify and form into a very slightly larger than an Incensia pink wyvern. It's kind of like a peachy color. That's Chardrock.
And are you out here looking for your pod?
Not anymore.
Anymore?
I was searching, and then I ran into some trouble. So now I'm not searching, I'm running.
What trouble?
And like at the same time his head turns to Chardrock and Chardrock's head like turns to him, and they regard each other for a second and then like look back at you, and Chardrock says, "Do you have any food?"
I don't think that you're in a place of negotiating for food at this moment in time. What are you running from? We were taught not to run. What are you running from?
It's a slightly longer tale. Maybe we could go somewhere a bit less exposed.
Can I be intimidating? Can we be intimidating?
Sure.
This whole time, and Cinzia is not like backing off at all. I'm still
Yeah.
kind of even fluff off a little bit when the pink wyvern's slightly larger than I am.
Ardor would 100%. If I could tell you were getting like, I'm gonna make myself even bigger, and just be like, no way.
Yeah, I feel like just because it seems like this person is trying to control the situation a little bit, and we've been burned by that already. I think being a little worried about like, is this another person who can like magically transport us to a different place? Like, I feel like I like touch the back of Ardor and you can sense like, make yourself bigger. And I'm just gonna take my hands and put them on my weapons. And I want him to notice that. We can talk here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we don't need to go anywhere.
Of course. Well, and he kind of looks around, and then this could take a little while, but I'll try to be as succinct as possible. I was returning from a patrol with Chardrock here, when the best way I can describe it, Harrowhold exploded. I was lucky in that I was not within the blast range, which was considerable. But I tried to dig through the rubble once we had both regained our feet and shrugged off some minor injuries, burns, and could not find anything alive. Most of it was just rubble, and to this day we still presume that the majority of the riders are still buried underneath. So I went to go and see if I could find any of the masters who had headed north. Apparently they had a confrontation with a very large black dragon. I know this doesn't sound believable because there's no such thing as black dragons, but that's what I was told. And had either had to run away or died. So I decided to hide for a while, until I knew what exactly was happening. That was until about a week ago. Myself and Chardrock were in the mountains on Stillspine. But then I heard that there was a dragon, or a sighting of a dragon, possibly a master, up north. So we decided to travel up there and see what we could see. We went to Cargilia. I didn't get there. I was stopped by a patrol. They fired on me. And I landed, and they essentially tried to arrest me. Apparently they have a couple of dragon riders working for them or with them. And they had a mage with them. And at this point, like, Chardrock's head kind of like dips a little bit. I would say for Ardor and Incinzia, you can, it seems a bit of you know what, with Ultra and Rithera having been with their dragons so much, I'd say you'd probably grasp the body language of dragons pretty well. It seems to be kind of like a little bit shamed, a little bit like sad. We decided to run again. Just about got away. So, didn't gather much information. Didn't like what we found. And as far as we can tell, the riders, or at least Harrowhold, has been destroyed. And all the masters are either dead or in hiding. We weren't really sure what to do. But Chardrock suggested we go south. Into the frozen wastes, into the winter. And stay there for a while. We thought maybe we could at least do a little bit of our job, or what our job used to be. And at the very least we could maybe keep any creatures, monsters from encroaching further north for now, until we decide what to actually do. I haven't seen any other riders since Harrowhold fell. What?
Well, you did. You saw the patrol.
Well, those were just people. Crossbows. A mage. No
You
rider.
did say dragons.
We heard that there were dragons up north. We never saw any. But apparently, a couple of riders have been working with Corgilia, or for Corgilia, or something. It wasn't very clear.
The patrol was near Calgilia.
On the road southwest to Sunswept.
Go around.
I would pat and feel like you're not wrong, but it's okay. How's Ulcha feeling in this moment? Can Rithera pick up anything of how?
I think like less tense. Obviously, like my hands have moved away from my weapons at this point. Like probably pat Ardor, and I would assume Ardor would relax a little bit more, but just kind of like stoically watching and having that realization that the world has affected everybody and that there is some huge things going on that being in the swamp, I think we've missed out on a little bit. But also realizing that I need to be a little calmer because not everybody's a threat. What is your plan now? What are you trying to do right now besides run?
Just run.
Where do you see yourself in a week?
South, past the mountains, into the snow.
So abandoning everyone and everything that has taught you to be who you are.
What have you been doing?
I look over at Rithera and just kind of look back. I try to catch your eye like, oh, we've been hiding in the swamp.
We've been preparing.
For?
More information, next step.
What would you like to know?
I just can't understand how you could abandon everything that we are. Your pod. Our way of life, what you were chosen for.
We tried.
So I don't.
But I don't know whether you've noticed, things have changed. Harrowhold is destroyed. Most of our pods have been wiped out. I'm the only survivor from mine. The masters are either missing or dead. I don't know about all of them. I know Master Che and Master Vaz fell. With their dragons.
There's a number that we have lost. This is true.
Significant number.
Yes.
Other dragon riders, other people like us, have you met many over the last bit?
You're the first ones I have spoken to since Harrow fell.
Can I say that I've brought some food with me? Like we have like a little satchel of
Yeah, I'm
fish.
sure when you fly, you fish. Yeah.
I like to think that we have like fish jerky.
Oh, dried fish would definitely be a
Yeah.
thing.
Dried
Oh,
fish.
yeah.
So I think in one of the side packs on Ardor, I'm gonna take out like a ration of fish jerky and like not like casually toss it, but just kind of show him like, hey, here's some food, and like throw it down to him.
I definitely stopped posturing as soon as they were talking about running away. So I'm like,
He catches it and like snaps off like a small portion, puts the small portion in his mouth, and then the rest goes up to his dragon, who kind of like, it's not much, but snaps up. He says, "Thank you. We've mostly been hunting wildlife as we go. It's not the easiest, especially around here, although I guess I understand why now."
We're not trying to be rude or scare you. It's just been
No, I
bad out here.
Trust is not easily come by
not anymore, no.
anymore.
I understand. I would be the same, but at least you have each other. Is it just you two? Are you the only two that survived? How did you survive? That explosion was...
We were away from our hold.
Same.
Were you on a mission with your pod?
No, my pod was in Harrowhold. I was doing a quick patrol by myself.
Just for my memory's sake, how common was it for them to do like patrols without their pod, like for our dragon riders too?
Depending on how successful and advanced the pod had become, fairly common.
Okay. I look at Rithera like I feel like I should have like a private word with you. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how to do that in this scenario with this person standing there. And realizing like it would be awkward to be like, give us a second. I'm just gonna like look at you and say, what do you think we should do?
I will repeat myself. Trust is hard to come by now. The idea of abandoning one of our kind is not something that I could sleep with at night.
I'm gonna hop down from Ardor and walk over to. His name was, I know it started with an A.
Aradon.
Aradon. I'm gonna put my hand out. Aradon, my name is Ulcha. Thank you.
He puts his hand out and takes yours.
I'm gonna grasp his hand and pull it in.
There's a
I'm going.
growl from Chardrock.
I look up at his dragon and then look back to him. Can I trust you?
From the perspective of a survivor of Harrowhold, I want to
From
say
dragon
yes.
rider to dragon rider.
I want to say yes. But we've decided that the dragon riders are done. We're going to uphold what little part of them we can, but we're on our own now. We intend to go as far away as we can and look to ourselves. Both myself and Chardrock.
So you have no interest in potentially coming with us then?
We tried to hang on to what was left. There's nothing left. Everything that was left of what we were is buried under the rubble at Harrowhold.
Which means it can be dug out.
And rebuilt. And built from the ashes that once was.
What are you going to rebuild? We hadn't even finished our training. We don't even know what we were doing.
Speak for yourself.
You don't always need a teacher to learn.
We can teach each other. We can learn from the past and look for the future.
Maybe.
I let go so that maybe not push him back, but just let go of that grip I had on him and look over at Rithera. I don't think he's a dragon rider anymore.
I agree.
I'll go over to the satchel and I'm going to get a couple more packs of the dried fish and give them
And if
to
I
him.
had any on me, I would also pull those out.
He takes them. Thank you. If I were you, I'd be very careful. It seems like those riders who are left have adjusted in different ways.
As we can see.
Which pod were you from?
Did our pod have a name?
You know, I'm looking at our list.
It would be most likely Iliagars.
Oh, Iliagars. Okay.
Well, unless you want more information on what's been happening, we should go. I don't really want anyone following us.
Is there anything that's important that you feel like we should know before you leave?
If you're looking to rebuild something, then you're going to have to find someone who knows what's happening, who knows how to do things. At least one master. We're just kids. We don't have the knowledge to do anything. And he puts his hand on Chardrock. And our dragons aren't even fully grown.
I realize nothing I can... This person has made up their mind of what they think they're capable of, and so I'm just gonna touch his shoulder and squeeze it and then not say anything and go back to Ardor and get back on the saddle.
I have one question. How does the outside world receive the dragon riders now?
I tried to keep my head down and travel with Chardrock in an unassuming form as you found me in. One of the benefits of Chardrock is that he's a lot less conspicuous than, and he kind of nods up towards Ardor. Not good. Suspicion, fear. I think a lot of people blame us. And I think a lot of other people, certain people, celebrate a new freedom. And I worry about what's going to happen in this area of Lys and others in the near future.
Thank you.
We should go.
I pat Incensia.
I
don't
kind
blame-
of do a little nod to his dragon, to Shadowrock, and try to set off.
As they kind of like start moving again, as they pass by all four of you, Chardrock kind of like, he's looking at Incensia, but he's essentially talking to all of you, and he says, I'm sorry about the loss of your master, Iliagar Blisterskin, and his dragon, Avenda. And then they move up, keep moving.
Just gonna let him go. Like,
Mhm.
he wants to go. They want to do that.
I think I just sit there and I don't say anything, just kind of like looking off into the distance, like wherever he had just come from.
Yeah.
And then I'll snap out of it a little bit, kind of realizing like I've just checked out. He didn't want to even try anymore.
No, we didn't.
Does he know something that we don't? That this is just a whole big fruitless and unnecessary thing to be doing?
I don't
Try
think
to-
so. I don't think so. I think he was defeated. I think he might regret those choices later on. He just gave up. No one said that this life was easy. No one said that anything that we've been through since we first picked up our dragon eggs has been easy. Our choices to protect, to care, to keep others safe. And in his own way, he's feeling like he's doing that. Might not be what we view is the right move. Like, I view it as walking away from the things that are important, the things that we need to protect and uphold.
I mean, this is an actual question and not to be insulting. Is all that we are as dragon riders? Like, we follow this code no matter what?
I think that being a dragon rider gives us more than just a code. It's my soul.
He was able to walk away from it so easily. Are we missing something? Is this just a big old brainwash?
Do you feel brainwashed?
Arahold couldn't even stand and attack. Weren't we supposed to be the biggest, strongest, baddest things in the whole world? Now it's burned to the ground?
I do think that was proved otherwise by a giant black dragon, which no one expected or understood or even knew existed.
The collective, though, all of us, all of our dragons, all of our leaders, all of us, were nothing compared to that.
But we don't have the same morals as that. That has lost its view on life. It's twisted and toxic and evil.
You aren't a little bit discouraged that evil was able to just take like a step and leave it all destroyed?
It hurts every day. But we have hope. We have hope with our pod, our dragons, the eggs. To me, there's hope. And agony and desolation wouldn't have let us get away. If they are that big, that bad, that evil, we wouldn't be here. And to me, that's hope.
I think you can tell that Ulcha doesn't have the same level of hope that you do. I just don't want to be so entrenched in this fight for maybe nothing. What does anything mean? Is everything just labels and ideas? Not actually any substance to it? Yes, I'm a dragon rider and I was chosen, but maybe the egg just hatched when I went near it. I just happened to walk by the egg at the right time.
Do you feel like you've lost that view on yourself?
Look at where I've come from. The universe feels like it tells you things, and sometimes it's just like you have this big new adventure, and then you literally watch it burn in front of you. Don't you think there's something to that? Signs from something bigger?
I think that it's showing us that new things can come from what's burnt down. And I think that sometimes things have to be destroyed to build new. And that hurts. And it doesn't mean that people haven't lost or feel crushed or mourn that change. But life is change. Like our dragons are always growing. We're always growing. We're always changing.
I admire you and Cass. You two are just keep taking steps forward, and then like Perry's just making a home and without a second thought just starts digging, and I feel like I just watch it and try to help, but I don't think I'm where you all are at right now.
And that's okay. We all don't have to be in the exact same place at the exact same time. I think that's a part of growing. And that's a part of why we're put together in a pod. We're there to support each other. If you're not where we are, that's okay. Doesn't
we
mean we're
s-
not gonna help you.
Can we see Eridon still? Like, is he like flying off in the distance, or like is he like kind of just? Can I see him anywhere?
At this point, he would have been probably swallowed by the horizon.
Okay.
But he was walking with Chardrock through the forest, kind of not directly towards where you are camped in the swamp. He seems to be kind of going around the swamp in that direction. You're kind of like around, but
There's like footprints though and stuff, right? I'm gonna hop off Ardor and just start like kicking the dirt around and like trying to cover up his tracks and the dragon's tracks. I don't really know what to say. It just makes you think about everything. We haven't seen many others, and we've seen people the last little bit, and I feel like it's just fear. Everyone's afraid.
We're all
They're afraid of us.
Maybe. And maybe that's something we're gonna have to face. And that I don't know how we're gonna handle.
can I interject for one moment? Because I'd like to hear the thoughts, at least, of one person here. Ardor, how did you feel about Ultra saying that she just happened to walk by an egg and hatched from it? Because I feel like Ardor would raise some contention to that point.
I think Ardor is seeing the pain that Ultra's going through.
Mm.
And is deeply hurt by that comment. But also understands that sometimes people feel very lost. And I think having understood, having seen where Ultra came from, where it was
So definite. So, like, you have the truth, and you know what the truth is. And I feel that Ardor probably noticed more than anyone else that Ultra's been questioning her origins since joining the Dragon Riders. And
Well, this is-
also, now the Dragon Riders are kind of in question to a certain degree.
Yeah. This is a question for Ultra. Has Ultra been meditating every morning since we
No.
moved? Well,
Probably like we were probably keeping with it like after everything, just like this is good for me, but it's slowly like I'm gonna skip today, and then like it just started to taper off like more and more, and definitely not making the time for the meditating like at all anymore.
so I think for me, Ardor would be hurt by that comment of it wasn't just we chose each other and we're meant to be together. We're meant to be this pair, this inseparable, once in a lifetime pair.
Mm.
But also, I think Ardor has had a very good understanding of the loss that Ultra is feeling as well.
And I would imagine all four of you, you know, like, who knows how true it is, but for the first time you've heard confirmation that Iliagar and Avenda fell. So
I think I'm gonna be kicking up the tracks as much as possible and like just trying to mess it up, probably haphazardly. Not sure if it's actually doing anything, but I think that Ulcha didn't even realize like maybe what she had said would be incredibly hurtful to Ardor. Like it's just kind of like a crisis of identity. So not even realizing that, I mean, while she's getting back onto the saddle, she would like give a small like little hug to one of like Ardor's legs before climbing back onto the saddle.
And Ardor's still gonna like take ahead and help support and push you on. We're just definitely not mad at you. It's
Yeah.
just
I
that
think
like
Yeah. I can understand how Ardor would feel like upset. Can I sense that I've upset Ardor at all?
Maybe a little bit.
a little, like maybe there's not as much pep
Yeah.
of like, oh, we get to fly and we haven't really been flying much and like we get to be together.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like we get to be together, but I don't make you feel special.
Yeah.
So that feeling is like gonna take time to process, I think, for Ardor.
I think I probably sense it and just don't really I'm like, why? Oh no, did I? Like not really understanding because Ulcha is being a little bit selfish in her own head right now. And it's not fair to Ardor, but just kind of being like, oh, I got a weird energy, but we just went, everyone just heard about Iliagar. We talked to this guy who doesn't care. So maybe, I don't know what where it's coming from. Which is a lack of self-awareness for Ulcha.
He was a little bit of a bucket of cold water of reality, kind of like. So I can understand.
And as much as Rithera is talking about hope, I think it's also a point of Rithera's talking about hope because she doesn't want anything to question her own hope.
Yeah.
But she didn't trust him. And that was a thing for her is she's like, okay, yes, hope, we need to rebuild. But I think she's realizing I don't trust anybody right now.
Which, considering he was also from Harrowhold, is probably, like, me. I imagine Rithera doesn't quite realize yet. But that says a lot about the current state of things as well.
Yeah.
Like, I would proffer that before the fall of Harrowhold, even with someone like Jerix, before everything happened, like, you didn't like him, but there was still an element, a bond of trust there. Maybe not completely for Ultra, but in general, like, he was still a Dragon Rider. Which kind of means that Aradon wasn't a Dragon Rider in your eyes. He was more of like a random person who could be a threat that happened to have a dragon with them.
And I think Ulcha that would be something like I was very open in that moment of I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also the thoughts about Jerix too would confuse Ulcha even further because he's from that opposite cult and then he sacrificed himself. So it's just I think in general, it's just a very messy time in Ulcha's head.
Understandably.
But she's not really open about it. It's probably just, it's coming out in ways of like, what's the point? Which probably isn't very nice for the others in the pod right now.
Okay. So Ardor for now is gonna. Is Incensia also going to keep quiet?
Incensia has some thoughts, but they're for Rithera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Unlucky Ultra, you don't get to hear.
Well, out of character, I will. So
Yeah.
that's all that matters. I need the tea.
In that case, do you think both duos would like split off on the way back and kind of like converse, or is this something they want to talk about with everyone?
I think we might take space. Like we might.
Yeah, we're still
But
probably
I
getting
don't
back.
think we would split very far. I think it would be a like I don't want to be alone in this
So
environment because we don't know what could happen.
keeping
So it's
eyes,
still
but
within-
there's a little drift of like
Yeah.
oh, we're just scouting and looking around. Also, hey, what's up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, once you've cleared up the tracks and you feel comfortable heading back to camp.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna go back because we have to report to everybody like what kind of happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, as you're flying back, if either duo would like to converse, feel free.
I think Rutherin and Cynthia should. I don't know. Like I would say, like from my perspective, I don't know that Ultra's gonna be really talkative right
Yeah,
now.
well, yeah, I was thinking Ardor and Ultra probably don't have as much because they're both holding things back.
He had a point, you know.
Point of what?
The Dragon Riders are gone. We don't have to keep looking after people who fire on other dragons.
That's what we signed up for. With or without Herald, it was about protecting others.
But what do they need protection from now? He's going into the wilds and turning back monsters. Good for him.
Sometimes, as we've learned, not all monsters can be seen. No one knew that agony and desolation existed. Doesn't mean I'm sure that there were hints or information somewhere. I'm not good at books and research and that sort of stuff, but doesn't mean that we can't sense those things.
But what can we do against that? And if he's wanting to destroy the Dragon Riders, bringing it back will just make him do it again.
I don't know how we make it different, but we have to. We can't just abandon the world. We can't just abandon the dragon eggs we have. We can't just abandon a world that needs protecting.
At some point, people have to protect themselves.
So we have to work together with them. We help them. We help them build up their protection. We learn what training needs to be had and where.
The four of us, the eight of us, the eight of us, with all of these, when they are scared and don't even want us around, why should we put ourselves at risk? For
Why should we
people-
abandon them?
Because it's morals well and good unless you're dead. You can't uphold them if we all die from agony.
Would you rather go down fighting than abandon the people that might need your help?
They need to look after themselves.
I didn't realize we saw so differently on this.
You didn't ask.
Maybe I didn't.
Can
But-
I very quickly ask a question? How much has Ruthera told Incensia about how she grew up and her people?
I think that Ruthera would try to tell Incinzia, but most of the time Incinzia would just go off and, from my understanding, would just go off, and I don't mean to speak for Incinzia, but I think Ruthera definitely tried,
Depends how
But-
much Incensia listened.
It
Yeah,
depends
I
on
think
how much
it's-
Incensia listens.
It's different hearing and understanding as well.
Yeah.
And I think to a point, Incendia's like, well, that sounds really weird.
Yeah.
But like,
I-
why would I look after another person for that?
I think of all the dragons as well, Incensia probably has the most wild dragon energy and like outlook.
Mhm.
So which just as a very small aside, I think is a very interesting dynamic, because even though there's the closeness, the like alien difference in thought is most apparent with Incensia and Rothera. That's like, you know, just I just wanted to, because essentially Rothera is from a very survival of the fittest kind of. I was wondering if any of this resonated on like a cultural level for Rothera, what Incendia is saying.
She understands it, but I think being chosen for the Dragon Riders gave her that sense of, oh, this is now the person that I have to take care of for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it's the world. It's like that's how she views it. And that's what's flipped in her brain of like what to take care of is I was chosen, that it's not just my one person until they pass away, and then it flips.
Yeah.
It's the world and protecting people and giving them safe homes and letting them live their lives.
So Rothera is kind of, in that respect, probably understands what the riders were meant to be the most.
Mm.
And like the responsibility and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I think we see this very differently. And I respect and understand that you might not see what I see, but we do have to work together. And I want to respect you, but we're here to protect, not abandon.
Well, I think you should think about it. Can't
Running
protect
away.
people if we are dead.
I don't want to lose my life. I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to lose me. But wouldn't you rather go out fighting for what's important than just running away like him? He just ran away. He abandoned everything.
As long as we agree what's important and when to leave.
And what do you view as important?
You're important.
And so are you.
So, agreed if it comes to it. We'll recoup, I guess, as Cassandra would say.
I don't think I could leave this family. Could you leave them? You leave Harry and Tourmaline and Cassandra and Argent and Ardor and Ulcha? Could you walk away knowing they might not survive?
And since it's, there's a very long pause here. I've already said that, you know, people have to look after themselves. I don't think Rothera's gonna want to hear what I have to say.
Yes, I could leave them if it came to it. And I would leave them if it came to it.
And I don't think I could. I'd want to go down fighting with them.
Well, we disagree again.
We do.
Can I guess that things lapse into uncomfortable silence?
I think so
Yeah,
for
I
me.
also think like Incinzia has the thought of like I'll make it happen if
Yeah, I was gonna ask, as before we move on, for Incinzia's private head thoughts, if there was a choice to be made and Rothera was in trouble or danger, would Incinzia just grab her and like run?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, yeah. If that's the thing, she's been made aware of it, so at least she's got a heads up. But if it came down to it, helping the others and potentially losing Rothera, like, we're out. Whether she wants to go or not.
And one last thing for the privacy of Incinzia's head, where she doesn't have to lie, although sometimes she does, even to herself. How much of this is a shattering of self-confidence that she's had since basically she was born?
Yeah, I think everything with Agony, we were so outmatched.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even within the realm that we could do anything. It's almost like willfully ignoring it, even internally. Like we're not thinking about that. We can take everything on.
Yeah.
That guy's a, you know, worse. There's only 2 dragons there and a mage. Like, no big deal. For herself, but with Agony and like, why should we put ourselves at risk? There's no reason. So, yeah, it's not like she's lost a lot of confidence in herself, but in the world, like, why bother with them?
Well, question. And please feel free to correct if I'm wrong here, but is this the first time that Incinzia ever felt like prey? Like the pure difference between between Desolation and her, it's like, oh, I now understand how all those boar and deer stuff felt.
Yeah, I don't think Desolation even paid attention to her, but yeah, almost like the mouse versus the dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't even compare. It's like, in that instance, let's stay quiet, stay small. That is that's a discussion for her self-confidence.
And this is just because I don't know whether it was mentioned, but the only person who Desolation actually paid any attention to at all in that moment was Argent. And Argent went through a little bit of a thing when that happened. Did Argent tell anyone about what happened there, or no?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to know, because I imagine Argent, in that respect, probably understands the most about the gap in everything.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
Yeah, no. And Incinzia shockingly would not talk about her feelings of that with the other dragons or with Thera.
There's definitely a slight gulf between the bond of dragon and rider and the bond of dragon and dragon within the pod, I would say. They've had some bonding moments, but
Yeah, we all go off and do our own things like overnight and making sure we're all. Yeah.
All right. Well, given that Ardor and Ultra are both also holding back, well, some feelings, let's, unless you'd like to have a conversation on the way back.
Would Ardor say anything, or would it just be quiet?
It'd be quiet.
Yeah. I think it's just a quiet fly back, sadly.
In that case, we'll have you land on the edge of the swamp. A little bit of paddling out onto the hillside, like through the swamp, over some little bits of island, tufts of earth, and back to the camp, which Perry is diligently digging out, and Cassandra is probably not.
I imagine Perry
no-
100% offered to let you help him in like the very Perry sort of way.
I'm guarding the camp.
Oh, okay. And then just keeps working.
Yes, one of us has to keep an eye out, Perry.
I mean, Tourmaline's also watching. And Argent.
Someone has to prepare the kit.
A kit?
Yes, my dragon care kit.
Oh. You didn't have that prepared already?
Well, it's good to check on things, Perry. Who knows?
It takes an hour? You're very thorough.
It's very important.
No, it's important. No, I agree. You hesitate to take it out. If it takes that long to check it, if we have to like go quickly, you're gonna have a hard time. Maybe you
This
should
is
pare
why we
that down a
check
little bit.
things. Perry, how's it coming along?
It's actually almost done. I had to cut a few corners, but I can brace that after we're done. It was just more of a. Doesn't look nice, okay?
I see. I'm sure the eggs will be secure, whether it be pretty or not.
I mean, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, I hope everything's okay there.
I'm sure they're fine. This is it's Rithera's remit, is it not? She has taken the role of war counselor or leader, so she can assess threats.
Yeah, I believe that. Where are we gonna leave?
Well, we have to leave at some point, Perry.
I mean, yeah.
Can't live in a swamp.
No, couldn't do that.
No.
Where would we go?
Well, we have to decide what our priority is, whether we want to visit the roost to the west, Sentry's Roost, or if we wish to go and see what the dragon rumors are around Cargilia.
Weren't we gonna check out that merchant?
Yes. We shall. Hopefully, they will see if he's in the area after the dragon
Yeah, right.
situation. One would hope, but we will see, and if not, we will have to track him down
Okay,
and see what the best course of action will be.
right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much done. Got it kind of set up so that you might not be able to find it easily within the little hovel we have. It's not like I could build an actual functioning like iron trap door or anything, but This thing get like a rock over the entrance and cover that up with some of the mud. So you'd have to be really looking for it and know where it is.
Yes, I think that would. I will trust your judgment on it, Perry.
Okay. All right. What are we gonna do with the eggs?
Well, obviously, we must keep them safe.
Well,
And,
yeah.
Depending on what we decide to do as a group in terms of the Dragon Riders, whether we come across a master, then we will decide whether to expand the Dragon Rider ranks, I suppose.
Are we gonna be Dragon Rider Masters if we don't find Masters?
I think we are not possibly at that level at the moment, but if that if we end up expanding our ranks, as I said, then yes, we would have to teach the younglings how to care for their dragons and about warfare, I suppose, defending themselves and knowledge of the world.
Isn't that gonna make us a target for that?
Well, it depends. So it depends on how we go about it. I suppose he had issue with the Dragon Riders as a whole for their destruction of his entire family, which didn't actually completely happen, but misinformation will do that. If we are different and not brainwashed as they believe, then why could we not make a new group?
You think he'd just let us do that without intervening or wanting to be under his subjugation?
He didn't seem particularly, I've lost the word. God damn it. Motivated to. Why did I go American accent? That was so weird. Motivated to keep us, as it were. He obviously asked us a lot about brainwashing and what we had learned from the Dragon Rider history. So
I mean, it was posturing and threatening, is what it was. It was basically a warning.
Well, this is
We
the
weren't a threat to
conversation
him.
we had to have, and I think he's very misinformed about the entirety of his family being dead.
I don't think that matters.
I think it's quite important.
I think it's
beginning of his
important. I don't
food.
think it matters to him. Blew up and killed a ton of innocents. I don't think it matters to him.
Well, regardless, we are to have this conversation. We don't know, so we are to find knowledge of where he is and what has been going on whilst we have been recuperating.
Okay. Anything else I can do?
Well, perhaps actually I am missing some herbs.
Yeah, I can go find. What do you need?
Lavender.
Okay. Lavender and maybe some sage could be good, and I'll see what I can find. And then Perry kind of quickly jogs off. I do have a gathering tag. So.
Oh, really?
You do.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Perry learned how to gather.
Oh, I
in some
have
of his
gathering
training.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You, as you were learning, you had kind of division of task of labor, where Ultra and Rithera were more hunting, food, and Perry and Cassandra focused on gathering and etc. for poultices and whatnot.
Very important to check out your medicine kits.
Yes. I will say that as you've been talking, and as Perry goes out, Ultra, Rithera, Incensia, and Ardor return, and it is quite a subdued return, I would say, whereby they are, to begin with, not particularly chatty.
Yeah, there was another like rider.
Oh, what?
Well, I guess not really a rider anymore. Like they didn't really want it. They were running. And they
Running.
Okay, so some survived then.
well, like his pod didn't, and Iliagar is gone.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, just kind of people are afraid. Like you can tell that Ultra's just trying like what's the talking points? Like you know.
Tried to be very matter of fact and to the points without actually
Yeah.
feeling any of what's just.
It seems very unemotional as I'm like delivering the information. Apparently people don't like dragon riders. They don't trust us. They're scared of us, which I mean, we saw that the other day, the father and son. So
Yeah.
did you think there's any important bits that he told us?
I think you got a lot of it. He was walking away from his duty, and that's how he's coping. But yeah, it seemed like a lot of hope was gone. It was my impression.
I guess I can't really blame them. That does leave the question, what do we do now? Where are we going? Are we going? Do I need to start a potato farm?
We are not starting a potato farm.
I mean,
Complaining about the fish all the time. We could get
Well,
potatoes.
we like
hopefully we'll not be
potatoes.
here so long as to yield potatoes.
It only takes a couple of months to grow them.
we were going to go talk to a merchant or attend some meeting, right? Or both.
I think the merchant will be the best option for now. See how the world lies. Especially if people are already afraid of us. I do know the general, but getting to him may not be as smooth as all that.
Maybe
We-
merchant, see how the state is, then go general?
Yeah.
Perhaps we can organize a meeting that we can attend in a safe way without our dragons.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a fear, not that I would.
The general trusts you because we could have the merchant deliver a message for us and then have the general come out for a meeting. Maybe.
I think the interesting thing about the meeting with the general was everybody else that was going to be there. Correct?
Well, at least we could do the the meeting introduction, and then we might be able to actually not abandon our dragons somewhere.
See what his stance is and what is going on.
Yeah, he would be. You know him, so he might not. He might be able to calm the waters, so to speak, before we get there.
Perhaps. Ultra, are you okay?
Do you need help digging still? Like,
No, it's done. I got it. I already put. I kind of slid a rock over it, kind of a slab thing that I was able to chisel a little bit and put mud over it, so the eggs are safe.
okay. What do you guys want me to do?
Well, we are to go look for this merchant before he gets too far away.
Yeah, we might might need to just head out now-ish.
Unless you'd like to stay here.
I mean, I can come. I mean, if that's the best thing for me to do.
Sticking together is probably a good idea. Not having someone alone is bad. As we found out with the... yeah. Merchant, they should have... Merchants are good with news and going on in the world. It's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I gotta restock like the packs, dragon packs. It should only take me like a minute.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Get more
Cass
fish
is-
jerky and stick
Cass
'em
got
in.
hers all set up.
Yeah, I've gotten it down to a routine now. It like takes me like a minute.
We did. I'll come with you, or I need to do the same thing.
Okay, we'll get our stuff ready, get the dragons sorted, and then head to the... Where is the merchant? Do we know where the merchant is? I just heard there was a merchant.
So I believe he was traveling between Talion and Harrowhold? Question mark first.
The farmer and the kid were traveling between Talion
Yeah.
and Harrowhold. The merchant was traveling north to either Lowhold or Liberalia. Wasn't entirely clear
Right.
which.
Oh, so yeah, it's not a small expanse. Yes, we'll repack and we shall set off. It's anywhere between Liberalia and Lowhold, so hopefully we can find his
Yeah.
trail.
Okay. Yep. We've got a plan of action.
We are going to be quite visible as a group.
Yep. Okay. Yep. We'll be seen, so we gotta just deal with that.
Do we want to stagger? Do we want to be seen?
I think from that area would be okay. Right?
Everybody's afraid of us. I don't think it matters.
No, not everybody's afraid. The boy and the old man you said were fine after they figured out that you weren't going to eat them.
It did seem that from our conversation that the world seems to be more reserved, concerned, and worried about dragons and riders.
So
And
if we
then-
put forward a united front of our group without showing where we are based, I think it will inspire people to potentially believe, and not necessarily want to believe in the dragons again, but that there is a presence and we are back on course with our major goals. If that's what we want to do.
And maybe if we don't eat travelers' food, that'll help solidify things.
Yes.
Let's not.
Flashing a glance to Incensia.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on their best behavior with the least amount of threat.
Is everyone just looking at Incendia at this point?
And Cynthia's
Probably.
like rolling her eyes, like, I guess. Like, whatever.
So, everyone
Mhm.
is headed off to the merchant person.
I think, like, is our camp obvious? It's or not? I'm
Your camp is not obvious.
right. Okay.
Mostly due to Perry's obsessive ministrations, let's call it.
Mm.
No critique there, Perry.
Sure.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah, if we feel that the eggs and stuff are secure enough, then
I
I think so.
yeah, that's a good question. Would you leave them or take them with you? They're
Perry
not
would wanna leave
difficult to carry with, so
Perry would want to leave them for the sake of the danger of carrying them if something happens to us. The eggs happen too.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Like, should one of us stay?
My thought is also that there have been in relative space to us, not far away, a dragon rider and the farmer and his son. So that's not a small amount in that space of time in the last few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
mean-
stay.
Maybe a couple of us stay, a couple of us go.
Would you like to stay, Ulcha? Would you feel better
I'm-
about protecting the eggs from here?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. We've just always had somebody here, so maybe I'm.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Probably, but I think having a couple stay is good and better because then you have backup in case something does happen. You can have one person helping with the eggs and the other person helping stop whatever's going on.
But Ardor, why don't you can go if you want to, if you'd like to.
I would rather be close to you, but I will go if that's what you expect of me.
No, I just want you to do what you want. I don't want you to feel like you can't get answers just because I stay here.
I stay with you. That's
Okay.
my job.
Yeah, you should have your dragon in case you need to flee or take the eggs. Also, you're off.
I'm just, I don't know what to say. I don't see much of a point to anything at the moment. So instead of holding everybody back from our mission, I thought you all go get your answers and I'll just stay here and keep everything kind of status quo.
If you're sure, but I think we should revisit that.
You don't ever hold us back.
I just don't want to argue with the merchant or
Well,
scare
then
him.
You stay with someone else, and I mean, I've dealt with a lot of merchants because of low hold. We did a lot of trading.
I can stay.
I think that's wise. Better not to be divided entirely.
And then we don't have to worry about accidental snacking.
Yeah, actually. That's probably a good call.
Wasn't an accident.
That's even more of the reason then.
We can do some hunting in Cinzia.
She'll just kind of nod at you.
Little puff of smoke.
Then it's agreed. Perry, are you ready?
Yep. Yeah, I think so. I grab my wrist crossbow, kind of strap it onto Tourmaline, as well as like the pack, and then kind of hand some herbs that I've grabbed.
Great. Well, yeah, I've got everything that I need. Go. I've probably got my big stave as well, obviously. Right. Well, stay safe. And we'll return with news soon.
Sounds good.
I've probably also got with me like a writing kit in case we do decide to write to the general. Which
Oh yeah, to a message to deliver via
in
the
case-
merchant.
in case like whatever we hear from the merchant, whether we want to send a letter with him.
I've
But
got some charcoal. We probably have some other scraps if you don't have any paper. Did you bring paper?
yeah, we were writing. Of course, Argent and I were writing his compendium, his book, his encyclopedia of knowledge.
It's a good book.
It is a good book, and unfortunately, quite a little light at the moment. As we, perhaps he has paper to sell.
Ooh, maybe he has books for trade.
We shall ask.
Good.
If there's trading going on Ultron with there, is there anything that you want us to barter for?
Yeah, there's, I guess, I don't really need anything. We have fish, water, fire.
Good sewing needle, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I can look and see what supplies they have for repairs and other things, and maybe some tools that I wasn't able to bring with me.
Then I don't have to keep borrowing yours.
Yeah, that'd be nice. No offense.
Untaken.
Okay.
Okay. Should we go? Time is probably of the essence.
Yeah, just walk over to Arjun and start going.
All right.
Same with Tourmaline.
So Perry jumps on Tourmaline, Cassandra jumps on Argent. Both kick off, and you very quickly find yourselves drifting through the air at reasonable speed as well. There it is. So, as you're going through the air, to begin with, you have the woods, you have the swamp first, and then into woods. One thing that I feel may have limited you from too much flight is as you kind of ride up above the trees and even higher, you can see where the vast rubble of Harrowhold is, which probably isn't a particularly merry sight for anyone. And I'm gonna guess here, but there's probably, like, as you're heading that way, Harrowhold is kind of there. There's probably eyes front mostly, and not much, looking over that way.
Yeah, we've seen it once before and may not want to continue to watch it.
So, in terms of finding the merchant, it's reasonably easy. You won't need to roll for that. They're on the road, you follow the road. Pretty simple. One thing I will say that you have not experienced before is as you fly over, there are occasional other people walking the roads, and especially as you go over Talion, they all run for cover. Which is something you've never experienced before, because for the most part, people would be either happy or used to dragons flying over, and it was never really a scared, threatening thing. Mm-hmm. I imagine all four of you note it. I don't know whether any mention is made of it. I suspect possibly Perry has tried not to think about it. And Cassandra is probably racing through 10 possibilities of what it might mean.
Mm-hmm.
However, as I said, pretty easy to find merchant. You whoosh over. Do you just land, like how do you approaching him?
Perry would probably try to... Oh, sorry.
No.
Perry would probably try to, make himself and Tourmaline very noticeable. Land far enough ahead, since we've kind of been warned that there might be a bad view on Dragon Riders. So enough ahead that it's not like, I'm landing right in front of you. But more, I'm up ahead, maybe off the road, to the side, to kind of just be like, hey, we're not blocking your path. Just here to talk. Again, kind of Perry roughly knows how to deal with merchants. Blocking them is like the person at the mall that stops you because you're just walking to go to a place. is more annoying than someone off on the side being like, "Hey."
Okay. Cassandra, any...
Yeah. I'd probably follow, but not immediately land.
Yeah.
Almost like have a little loop around.
A little recce of the area.
Yeah, it's not massive, but it's, go around. He's very aware we're there. We're trying not to be obnoxious, but
Yeah.
and land with Perry.
All right. As in that case, as you land, Perry, the merchant who's kind of been like, from what you can tell at least, a little tense, and he, as you land in front, very obviously, he kind of like, whoa, to his horse. He's got like a kind of horse and cart, like fairly large, quite nice. And he puts his hands out and says, "Good afternoon."
Want me to take this, or do you want to?
Please go right ahead.
Okay.
Perry hops down, his diminutive self, his weapon clearly stowed on the side of the saddle, not on his wrist, and just kind of goes,
Hi. Hello.
Just so you know, I don't have any money on me, and I don't think you're gonna have much use for my wares.
Not looking for any of that. You're okay. I'm Perry Courts from Lowhold. Hi.
From Lowhold.
Mm-hmm.
"Can you?" And like me being like 3,
Yeah.
5, or 6, it's fairly obvious.
Alright, so you're not gonna...
Nope.
You're not highwayman, like, looking to...
Nope. We were here to ask questions. We heard that there was a merchant about traveling between potentially even my home. We kind of are in the lurch to everything that happened.
Well,
Perry is side-eye like, look, we're trying to...
well, if you're not gonna be, taking my wares or trying to take any coin, perfectly happy to have a little chat, as long as, your...
Yeah. Yeah, no, we might even be willing to trade some stuff with you, because supplies and things.
I doubt you'll need what I've got, but yeah, alright.
Oh, you don't have any tools? Okay.
Tools... It depends on your perspective, I guess.
Kind of like seeing the strapped tools on Perry's like bandolier.
And what have you got?
And he reaches back and then pulls off the kind of like covering. It's just like swords and halberds and spears and javelins and
Okay.
recently
Arms merchant.
forged. It didn't used to be.
Yeah, I can see the
But-
change on that, though.
Supply, demand.
Yeah, you do what you gotta. No, I get it. Probably my family may have even given you some of the... Or, now, you did are you a smith, too?
No, just the merchant.
Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. Probably some of that ore is from my home. That's my guess, though.
Oh, some of the weapons as well.
Man, true. Oh, wonder if Jen made those. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So no, we've kind of been trying to stay away from people for obvious reasons. But we were just kind of looking for information on what's been happening. Maybe even apparently obvious perspectives that you have shown us. No offense was taken, by the way. You're fine. And just kind of news on the world and what the hell is happening. Maybe places we should avoid. And maybe we could give you some things to deliver a letter for us, depending on where you're going.
kind of steeples his hands for a second.
Could even, we'd be willing to show you the contents of the letter. It's nothing secretive. Just to ease your mind that you're not delivering like a spy's message or something like that.
Tell you what. Gather up some sticks, put together a campfire. I can take a little break. You can feed me,
Yep.
and we'll have a chat.
Sounds good. Do you like fish?
Sure.
Okay.
And if you wouldn't mind leaving your friends like a little bit, just
We'll leave him we'll leave him a bit back so to ease your mind. Absolutely.
many thanks.
Of course. Thank you for your time. What was your name? If you want to give it.
Shillen.
Dylan, good to meet you.
I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
Cassandra's like despairing over this. This is terrible. This is terrible negotiation tactics.
For what you believe, whereas Perry's like speaking merchant language here. It's all about bartering.
Cassandra's like, you put yourself in a weaker position. Like,
Because we are, and Perry knows it, and the merchant knows it too. But yeah, so Perry's just like starts trundling off, like gathering some sticks and things.
I mean, you're only in a weak position if you're not willing to be violent or aggressive.
Also, which, yup.
Hence why Incendiar isn't here, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, and Cincy's not one for politics, shall we say, or discussion.
No faffing.
Yeah.
Go for it. Just get straight to the
Perry,
point.
like,
Could you get some of the fish? We brought some raw, didn't we? We can cook them fresh.
Oh, yes, of course.
Great. Okay. And some of those herbs, the sage would be pretty good on that, I think.
I'll just start gathering all that together, and it's like, I put it in a pile.
yeah. Perry, like, kind of pushes some rocks, like, as, like, some slight sitting spots, and then makes, like, a basic campfire and gets that going and pulls out a small knife to, like, sharpen sticks to, like, skewer fish on.
Oh. Looks good. You catch him yourself?
Yes, technically.
And actually, like, point over to Argent in the, like, slight distance.
Our friend did.
Oh. I didn't realize dragons could go in water. I thought, fire, water doesn't really...
That kind can, actually.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And he kind of like reaches over, turns one of the fish, like against the fire.
They got some sage for that if you want any seasoning, so it's not just fish.
Sounds lovely.
And hands like a sprig of sage over.
Not much of a cook myself. I generally tend to stick to dried meat and vegetables.
It's easier on the road.
Yeah. And then obviously when I'm in a town, it's wherever I can lay my head, food generally comes with. Well, you've held up your end. A little bit of food, not too bad. How can I help yourselves?
General news in the towns.
Right.
Opinions of dragon riders. I kind of have an idea, but it'd still be good to know.
Right.
State of general politics would be wonderful. In general, like if cities have kind of gone to chaos, that sort of thing. Any rumors of dragon riders actually doing the things that are kind of insinuated? Maybe general trade and things like that. I mean, you kind of feed in on arms race. Anything else, Cass?
Yes, if you have any news of the meeting that is going
Oh,
on.
the meeting of the leaders.
And I'm quite interested as to where your arms are going, unless they are just for general sale.
No, I've got a buyer intended. So, which one would you like first? That was quite a lot.
Oh, sorry. Just general news in like the cities that you've been traveling to is probably a good place to start.
Well, I came over from... Well, originally, I came over from Regalia.
Oh.
I was actually trading some some furs, you know, general produce, that type of thing. However, got locked over here when Throughborough closed down the tunnel. Haven't been able to get through. Not too much of a problem for me, as things currently stand, just purely because trade is good currently. Everyone's panicking, everyone wants weapons. Very good news for your lads over at Lowhold, because output of the forges has tripled,
I bet. Okay,
quadrupled.
that's good.
Lots of money coming in.
Good.
Which is, you know, gonna be good for Lowhold, because I think places will need to be useful. Otherwise...
Yes.
So, obviously you know about Harrowhold, about the explosion.
Yeah.
From what I hear, same thing happened over at Sentry's Roost, just a little bit later. They put up a bit of a stronger fight, no offense, but that's just because they were more prepared. But
Yeah, warning.
didn't make much of a difference. The whole island was essentially turned into glass.
Right.
So, I imagine by this point the majority of Lys is the same. From what vague stories I've heard from other travelers, our giant friend has pretty much targeted the roosts around the continent one by one, and either killed or scattered the dragon riders.
Have you seen said giant friend?
No. And if I had, I would have kept my head down, preferably buried into the ground somewhere.
Don't blame me there.
Find a massive rock to hide under.
I have a lot of those.
No, as far as I know, they're either on the other side of the continent or they're gone. Haven't heard anything about them for a week, maybe a week and a half.
What was the last thing you heard? Like a week and a half ago.
I think they were up north somewhere. They're going through the desert. Or like scene headed that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Aside from that, you got essentially in this area, at the very least, you've got two main blocks of power. You've got Liberalia along with Talion trying to excavate Harrowhold, find any survivors, help anyone they can, and just essentially stick into how things have always been. You know, the cities help each other out, they abide by the Dragon Riders, and just try to keep the peace.
Are the dragon riders still there active?
No.
Okay, but they still are trying to help dragon riders.
I think they're trying and hoping they're gonna find some survivors.
I see. Okay.
The other, of course, is Cargilia, along with Sunswept, to a certain degree, Lowhold, and Garrick, who are rallying around authority. I think we all know that the old noble families, Cargilia, was always a center of power in this area. Since the fall of the Riders, they've been trying to get everyone around and either in line or online with, call it a grouping for security reasons, I guess. I'm not really sure exactly the intricacies of it, but the Council of Cargilia has sent out invites to everyone. The only ones who haven't responded or haven't gone appears to be Liberalia, Talion, and Frontier. But Frontier is Frontier, it's a whole different kettle of fish. Speaking of, and he like reaches forward and the fish is like quite nicely browned and just starts kind of like nibbling at the sides.
Perry does roughly the same thing to kind of solidarity.
Yeah. From what I know, envoys have been sent out and responded to. Cogelia's instituted martial law. So if you go up that way, you're going to see patrols, you're going to see guards, you're going to see all of that type of thing. I haven't been up there myself recently yet, because the checkpoints and everything, a bit much to get through. Aside from that,
Yeah.
Lowhold is still open, but only partially, accepting any refugees, anyone who's too scared to be outside. But
Yeah, that sounds about right. Mostly just probably merchants in our own.
currently, they're producing weapons.
Yep. Well, that makes sense. That's what they would lean on.
The
Yeah.
only other thing I've really heard is that Frontier is preparing an army.
Who are they preparing it for?
Possibly everyone. They're a weird bunch down there.
Yeah, they are. And we probably sold weapons to them anyway, because we do it to everybody if they want them.
Myself personally, I've heard that there's a need for weapons in Garrick, as they are also accepting more people into the academy and equipping more guards, building up a force of their own.
Yeah. That sounds about right too. Do you mind telling us where you were headed?
Garrick.
You were headed to Garrick. Okay, that makes sense. You did say that they were looking for weapons. I just, didn't want to.
Yeah. So, if you're talking about the Dragon Riders, we haven't heard anything from really anyone. A few sightings here or there on the outskirts, traveling away.
Got it. So no reported attacks from Dragon Riders
Oh.
necessarily,
Yeah.
but fear is still there.
I mean, they were polite about it, but I've been held up a couple of times in my travels.
I'm sorry.
By who? Or rather,
Did they give names? Were they stupid enough to do that? Because I hope so.
No. One of them had a kind of deep blue dragon with them, 3 heads. And they didn't ask for everything. They didn't take the weapons or anything. Just most of my coin.
Perry looks over at you, Cass, to see if you're writing down that description.
yeah, I'm pissed. Like, where and
Okay.
where was this?
Oh, this was not long after, maybe a few days, I was coming down from Sunswept. Down towards Liberalia.
North of the river or south of the river?
North. Still in the plains.
You see what way they flew away? If you were even paying attention to that after the robbery.
Yeah, they headed up north towards the stacks. The stacks are, like, they're not officially called anything. It's just in the desert, there's a whole load of, like, kind of
like plateau
mountainy-
mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what it's referring to. And I
Yeah.
suppose Perry would as well, because directly knows. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You might look into that. Thank you.
From what rumors and everything we've had, it appears that any dragons or riders left have gone to more isolated places where people tend not to go as much.
Yep. Now we understand that.
Unfortunately, everything the dragon riders had was provided for by everyone. Now that they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have any job or any way to earn money to eat or exist.
Thankfully, our masters taught us how to do that on our own. So, we don't...
Well, you got your fish.
Exactly.
Kind of gives a side smirk to Cass at that comment.
Like, so much.
Okay. You wouldn't... I know you said you're going to Garrick, but... Okay. Alright. Yeah?
If you want how people feel about everything that's happened recently,
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think a lot of the general populace feel betrayed.
I mean, I can understand that, but also... God. You'd think they'd recognize that most of us were kind of wiped off the map, literally. And we might be feeling a bit of that too, but, you know, people get scared and they react. Okay, was there anything else, Cass?
No. Thank you.
That was very, very helpful, Jillian.
Oh, if you are looking, I've heard there's a master in Cargilia.
That is very useful. Thank you. Do you know or who they were, or maybe what they looked like, their dragon, any of that information in the rumors?
I think the dragon was grey.
Gray. Maybe silvery?
No, I think it was grey.
Gray. Okay.
I think there's only one person who is luckily here who would take a guess. There's only one grey dragon.
Okay.
One master with a grey dragon that you know of anyway. And that was the person who taught you the stave.
Which makes sense, because, I mean, it's stupid to go back, but makes sense if they went home to Cargilia.
You also know from your interactions with her, and her name was Fayana Duskborn.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, she treated you with extreme deference, even though she was your master.
Yeah, I had to tell her to train me properly. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Which, yeah, makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
personally, I wouldn't go up towards Corgilia. From what I understand, they are either recruiting or attempting to detain dragon riders.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Things are looking up for myself as a traveling merchant, in that I will have a lot of business in the arms trade for now. However, speaking as a person who lives in this area, I don't think things are going to be good for a while now. Of course, I have no expertise in politics or these type of things. However, I am not an idiot. When you have a power vacuum, and especially when you have been held back from your aspirations for a couple centuries or so. Suddenly being free to do whatever you want will invariably mean grabbing power. I suspect we will see wars, we will see death, and very possibly we will see dragon riders taking sides if there are any left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, obviously, there's at least a couple, seeing as I've been robbed a couple of times and been treated to lunch.
People are people, right?
And dragons are dragons.
Yeah. Alright. Well, I think that's all we ask of you. Thank you so very much for your time and help.
If I can give you a little piece of advice, just speaking as a someone who's, no offense, a little bit older, a little bit more traveled maybe. You now have an asset, which is strength and power. That means that you have almost no freedom at this point in the world. You will either be compelled, bribed, or forced to be part of this conflict that's coming.
Yeah, unless we hide like the others.
Unless you hide.
Yeah.
So, thank you for dinner. And I'm very sorry for the future that stretches out in front of you.
Yeah. Same to you, admittedly. You'll make money, but you know that's a short-lived job in that regard.
It's gonna be rough for everyone.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I have only one more ask of you. If people ask your dealings with dragon riders, could you also include us in some of that, so it's not all highway robbery?
I'll be happy to.
Appreciate that. At least so that there's not everyone being shitty.
You know what? And he reaches back and reaches into the back of his cart. Seeing as you've been so hospitable, and he pulls out what looks like essentially a not particularly pristine, but better than what you've seen recently. About 3/4 of a cake. It looks like some kind of fruit cake.
Probably like visible drool comes out of Perry's mouth for a second
just like,
there.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate not being robbed and your kind approach. And also I think if you have been living on solely things you've managed to find, here, take this and share it out amongst yourselves.
Thank you. And Perry takes the cake very humbly as best as Perry can.
Do you want I have at least it's a different dried ration, at least to give you some variety, and holds out some dried fish
Sure.
and hands that.
Thank you very much. We'll take off after. Do you want us to take off before you pass to not spook your horse?
If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure it's okay. We'll do that. Thank you again. Good luck. Safe travels.
Oh, seeing as you want me to spread the word of yourselves not being highwaymen just yet, would you like me to spread your names? I never asked.
No names. Just that there are some that aren't doing that. And that you've experienced it firsthand. Thank you.
Perry gives a polite bow.
Shall we?
I think you should share our names.
He's just dusting off and he looks up.
Let them know that. I look to Perry are you good? Because this is
Perry shrugs at you. You're the leader.
Perry Quartz, Ulchbarn, Rithera Crix, and Cassandra Linden are here, and we are standing up for what we believe in. Anyone asks? And there will be what's the word I'm reaching for? Consequences for consequences for dragon riders. Repercussions for dragon riders who betray the world of Leith.
I might put you up against your family.
It will certainly be an interesting day when that happens.
Well, I'll do what I can.
That's all we ask. Thank you. Good sales.
Thank you. I would say good luck, but
Make our own luck.
indeed, stay safe.
You too.
And Perry kind of toddles off with
Yeah.
the cake
And he,
after putting the fire out, so the merchant doesn't have to deal with it.
he pockets the dried fish, jumps up on the cart, and the horse heads off. You wait a little, and then you're heading back.
Before we heading back,
Well, we have the cake. We could probably deliver that. Do we?
Do we eat the
We
cake
wanna-
like without the others? Just
Perry definitely thinks about it.
Yeah, Cassandra's like reaching for it when we were sat there.
That-
Like,
But okay, but do we go back, tell them, and then head to Cargilia? We could get detained, but your master, wasn't that your master? I
Yes,
recognize the name.
I do. She was incredibly deferent to the council and my family, and
Your name might be enough to. Your name might be enough to not get us detained, but if all of us go there, it would probably still happen.
And I know my family quite well. I do believe they would detain us.
just as a sidebar at this point, the dragons would have rejoined you. So,
Okay. Yeah.
obviously they were sitting a little ways away to begin with.
Yeah,
So if Tourmaline or Argent have thoughts, feel free.
they.
Your family would detain you?
Well, it makes sense. We're a powerhouse. We can change the course of the country. Why would they not? Like most of the council would, not just my own.
Yeah. How are we gonna get a letter to the general then? And
Perhaps
exactly.
we visit your family in Lowhold.
Yeah.
If they've already had envoys sent to the meeting or plan to, we can get the information there
Yeah, that's fair.
and
That's
plan to
fair.
attend ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy.
May I ask a question?
Oh yes, Tourmaline.
Cassandra, you said your family would detain you?
They would try and capitalize on our strengths, yes.
Conscript
I
us,
know.
maybe.
I am young, but that is not what I have understood family to be.
We have quite different families, I believe. from Perry and with Aaron Ultra, it's quite different from how I was raised.
I believe our pod is like a family. Is that correct?
Yes.
We would never detain each other.
No,
We would help.
not everyone is like that, unfortunately, Tourmaline.
And the political spin would be that we are helping their cause and family and motivations, so they'd possibly try to convince us first before.
To hit upon a quick point in probably Perry and Cassandra's minds. It seems like Cargilia is looking to position itself as the new law
Government
enforcement government kind of thing.
Yep.
With the void left by the Dragon Riders, leave that open to everyone as to whether they think that's a good or a bad thing. I imagine Cassandra definitely has her own opinions. One question though. Considering how badly the riders, especially the riders of Harrowhold, have been, let's call it, decimated, what does the prospect of a master working with such a group with intent?
I think Cassandra's thinking about all the different motivations because she's probably definitely heard some grumbling over time of like, we could only have a certain amount of power, like,
Yeah.
we're only allowed to do what we're allowed to do kind of thing, I imagine, in Cargilia.
And the decline of the noble families too?
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of ambition, and they may well posture it as, yes, we're gonna be the security force, we'll look after you, but also you pay us massive tithes and you do as you are told. And I think that she's aware of it and concerned about it, and with the master going there, that is a strength she would have hoped they didn't necessarily have in a way. But if Frontier are prepping for war, then maybe it's a good thing. There aren't enough Dragon Riders to hold the peace, so it's kind of, she's just thinking, her mind's racing with all these different options and potentials, and we just don't know.
Frontier is essentially the only place in this area of Laos that has to occasionally deal with any type of, has had to deal with any type of fighting, mainly the occasional incursions from monsters and creatures and beasts. So they have a certain, they always had a certain independence compared to all the other cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also the question of, like, obviously the Dragon Riders were paid in ways with like food and support.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, but is that not a kind of tithe? Like, it's all very.
And
there's so many options.
in a way, they conscripted. I mean, obviously the conscripts themselves were super enthusiastic and very happy to be Dragon Riders, but
Yeah. There's a lot to assess. It's not just this good, this bad.
yeah. Okay. So, is there a direction and a plan?
I think-
Yeah.
Um,
We want to go to, we're kind of closer to Lowhold now than the swamp. Do we want to try to make our way there? We can save the cake. It was wrapped. I know you want it, but I think it'd be good to share.
well,
Let's not have you turn into Incinzia.
no, we will share. There's plenty for us all.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give a thought to someone who I think this would occur to them. So carry on, but
Okay. Yes. Let us go to Lowhold. Assess their news. Perhaps find the information about the meeting and the envoy, and then we can return.
Yeah, I think we could get a letter to them and have them send it over. Especially, we take our time with things. It's not that we put things off, but we make sure everything's perfect. So I have a feeling they haven't sent their envoy yet.
Perfect.
And I could probably do that.
Do that.
Yeah. Cassandra,
Sergeant.
would we be stopped if we were heading toward Lowhold?
Stopped by whom? By
Any
Lowhold themselves?
wandering armies, maybe Lowhold? We would be seen on our way there.
Perhaps.
It's a direct, could seem as aggressive.
Hmm.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, but it is a caution.
It's very sensible, Argent. Perhaps we should assess and scout the area first from high, and obviously an army would be quite visible. One would hope, and they know Perry quite well, so though I don't believe Perry. Do you think they would try and use you for power?
No. That's not really our way. Everyone contributes.
Would you be expected to contribute, though, if you were to return as you are from Lowhold, and your contribution would be a dragon?
Not like they exactly... we don't really have a dragon suitable space in Lowhold.
You have the mountain.
On top of the mountain, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like on top of the mountain, but again, that's... we don't use it that much. No, I don't think so. Plus, I could just, tell them to go away and then just leave.
I'll also give you a little bit of extra info. The trip from Lowhold to Cargilia, for example, by kind of cart or horse or something, would be anywhere from like a day to 2 or 3 days, depending how
Yep.
quickly you go. By
Part
dragon,
of why, yeah.
anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be happy to have a dragon, admittedly, for the speed of travel, but again, we tend to take our time. Having a faster option isn't always the best option. Matron said that all the time to me. So, it's kind of maybe a 60-40 shot. 40 them being like, yeah, we want you to stay, and 60 they'd be fine. Maybe 70-30.
Those are not brilliant odds, Perry.
Better than Cargilia. You kind of just said it'd be set in stone. We'd just get detained if we go there.
Persuaded first. Well, if you... I'm wary of going without the others knowing where we are.
Yeah.
But if we...
I mean, it's not the... Okay. It's a risk. And I'm admitting it's a risk. However, I know how to deal with my people.
And Perry hands you the cake.
Go and bring this to them. I'll go. Give me the letter. I'll go. Formalina and I can go. You'll know where we are, so it's not like I'll be disappearing. But I can get the letter to the envoy. I can see what the status is. I can get information. I don't want to, but I could get myself out if I need to. I may know some tunnels that may have not been sanctioned for safety that I use to get certain things for myself. I should be fine either way, but I think that's the best plan. Both of us going, I think you're right too, might be a little intimidating. And you're not of our kind, which that doesn't mean they won't deal with you. It's just more Dragon Rider and not from Lowhold. Is that a good idea? Oh, okay, it's not a great idea. I know you're going to say that, but do you agree?
If you're confident, Perry, then I think we can trust you with it. But if it does become a problem, make them aware. We will retaliate.
Yeah, no, I'm yeah. 2 days. If I'm not back in 2 days. That's a good timeline. It's enough for I have a lot of family that's going to want to catch up regardless. Trust me on this.
We will expect a message
A message or me.
in Talion in 1 day.
You want a message in Tarlian in 1 day. Okay.
Feasible. And so
I'll do my best.
Sandra's mind is sort of like 2 days is enough time to get to Cargilia.
Yeah.
And I don't want him shipped off to Cargilia.
Okay. I can get someone to do that. Even if I can convince someone to get a letter to Tarlian in a day.
And if you are under duress, there is a phrase that we can use to.
I missed the cake.
Well, that could be true, Perry. But
Well,
that
yeah,
should-
I mean it is, but I won't say it unless there's a problem.
I missed the cake. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'll be able, if there's something wrong, I can lie to them and say I need to send this missive so they think everything's all right, and I'll include that. They'll let me do that
Very well.
because they won't want dragons retaliating. That'll scare them enough. I know that. Okay, all right. Tourmaline, you okay with this?
Yes, I'm excited to see where you come from.
All right. Well, I was going to say don't get too excited and bouncy, but you don't do that, so that's actually probably fine. Okay. All right. Good luck, Cass.
And to you?
Will do.
Okay.
Let's go, Tourmaline.
Enjoy the cake.
I will
Oh,
save it for
Can I have a
your
bite?
return. No, it's saved for your return. It's fruitcake. It will keep.
Okay.
All right. And Perry and Tourmaline set off for Lowhold. Cassandra and Argent head back towards the swamp. And we will end there for today. Well,
We did it. We got a plan.
uh,
Apparently,
Yeah.
we're going in. Like Sandra's made that decision.
Yeah, sorry. Perry kind of took the lead a little bit there, leader.
No, it's all good.
Perry's excited for a task.
Perry's excited for anything that will distract him from everything else.
Oh, bless him.
So we're going to we're not going to do too much of an outro and thoughts this time. We're going to end on time for once. Feel free to throw in a few quick thoughts and feelings, because obviously quite a lot happened today. We got a lot of information. Let's go around. We'll start with Perry, Argent, and also Domestic Dan.
Hello, I am Domestic Dan. Thank you for watching. You can see me doing a lot of other stuff on so many other places as on Domestic Dan. Like today, I'm driving a couple of hours to go help a store for nerdy tea open. Yeah, that's why I got to dash away.
Amazing.
That could
Yeah,
be so much
they're-
fun.
It is. It's gonna be great. So that's what I'm about to go leave for in just a few minutes, quite literally. But yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, Perry's not doing great. He's trying to distract himself from literally everything.
Cassandra thinks he's doing great. He did great with the merchant, and he's taken a step for finding out information.
Little
about
do you
all-
know the poor internal turmoil for this small
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, there's a couple of internal turmoils going around.
But yeah, it was good stuff. I loved being able to just sit and watch all of the unfortunate happenings in the first half of this episode. Ugh. Feel bad for them, and now he's just gone. So, yep. Which is convenient for a lot of reasons, which we'll get to here in a second. You want me to just hot potato it over
Yeah, hot potato.
to Katie?
Hello. I have hot potato now. I'm Katie Here's Place. I played Ulcha and Tourmaline for you today, who might be also going through a slight crisis, you know, a little bit little crises. I won't be here next week, so we'll see how that plays out for the story. But I'm really excited to watch what all 6 of them get up to while I'm away. What about me? I'm on Twitch at Katie Peters Plays if you want to hang out with me. I have podcasts. All the stuff's on my Twitter. If you want to come hang out with me, come do so.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, am I forgetting anything? Is there anything important?
I always forget everything, so don't ask me.
You do cool things on your channel.
Yeah, what do you,
I
what
do
you
cool
do
things.
other than
What?
podcasts? What do you stream other than podcasts?
Oh,
You're
well,
amazing.
lately, my arm's been in pain, so I've been playing some point and clicks. And we played some very emotionally damaging games called Emily is Away. She hurt our feelings a lot. So if you want a game like that, come watch the VODs for that. But we have lots of fun stuff coming up in the future. Hopefully not as emotionally damaging. So we'll see. I'm gonna hot potato to Tash.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Tashna. I play Final Fantasy 14 and sleep a lot. Not on stream, that would be weird. I've played Cassandra and Incinzia, who Incinzia, yeah, she's like ready to break off. Them to not care about Lise. And Cassandra's like, no, we must guard everyone. We must uphold it. I am outraged.
It's a bit of a jump between the two.
Which is, yeah, it's really interesting. And it should be interesting that she's put all our names out there. I was like, oh no, I gotta do it. I gotta say it. So we'll see how that goes. She's just threatened all the Dragon Riders who are doing banditry, I suppose.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
Well,
Sheesh.
we're a
If
team.
you do
there's
anything
4 of
bad,
us.
we're here for
We
you.
are
We're coming for you.
And it'll be really interesting to see how it goes when we do eventually get to Calgilia. And whether or not there's any cake when Perry gets back. If he's
There
later
better
than
be.
2 days, he's not having any cake.
He's not having his cake and he's probably dead.
It's probably dead. Or conscripted. Yeah. But
Don't give me
yeah, super fun,
ideas.
super excited.
Don't give you ideas, just kill off Perry. How dare you?
I mean,
No.
could you imagine if they went out and were faced with a conscripted Perry?
I feel like there's a certain amount that you can force someone to do,
Yeah.
right?
I
We'll
mean,
see.
you know, I feel like I feel like, for example, Incinzia would go to many lengths if Rethera was threatened.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Sorry, everyone, that I've caused this now, apparently. And I'm going to pass it over to
My brain's
Ellie.
like clogs.
No, it's too late to change it.
Oh,
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hellbell Ellie. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I was very loving getting a chance to actually sit back and just watch the show the second half. It was really awesome. I'm emotionally trying to deal with the first half of the episode. Both Rethera and Ardor are I have lots of feelings right now, and I don't understand them. But yeah, that's it. That's me. I am a variety streamer. I stream a lot of very different things. I started playing RimWorld again, and I'm finishing up Grim Fandango and Zelda 2. So that's it, and that's me. And Sheepy.
hell yes. Hello, I am Sheepdog. I run the Wandering Inn, and I also made Dragon Riders. And therefore it is my fault that I took a happy, wonderful, comfortable, warm dragon riding society and turned it into what we see now. All I can say is, it makes sense to me, but maybe that's just because my mind is a dark and black place where nothing happy is allowed to reside. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed Dragon Riders. We have a new show coming up on the 30th, which is going to be the QT. The best way to describe it is a supernatural high school show. You could compare it by saying it's kind of like Buffy. It's nothing like Buffy, but if you want a very vague idea, it's kind of like Buffy. And yeah, thank you to everyone for this episode. As has been mentioned, we are missing Katie next week. So we're going to essentially do our best with next episode, because obviously it's difficult with when you're playing two characters and they're kind of dependent on each other. But the one thing I didn't want to do is like, oh, don't worry, I'll play Tourmaline. You know, no, just avoid that kind of thing. So yeah, next week we'll have an episode, and then week after episode, and then a break. If you want the full schedule of what's coming up in the next couple of months, it's on the Discord. Go follow the Twitter. Go check out the Patreon. If you want more shows, throw a couple of bucks on the Patreon, and as more people do that, I can make more shows. I make more shows anyway. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I'm living outside my means already. But I enjoy making shows, and Dragon Riders is something I've been wanting to make for ages, and a little bowled over of how well it's translated from Brain to everyone doing this here. I have very much enjoyed things like Aragon and other pieces of storytelling. What would you call it? Media? Not really media. Other dragon riding stories and stuff, and I wanted to make my own. So yeah. What I will say is come back next week, because there is another Dragon Riders episode. Thank you for watching, everyone, and yeah, we will see you next time.